Welcome, Raiders. Welcome. We're having a NFTOPIA school session. We're learning a little bit about different things for creators. So shout outs to BD. Thank you for the raid, and I hope everybody had an absolute blast over there and won some cool stuff. This is more creator oriented. So if you are a creator, we encourage you to stick around and learn some things. We're just about to start doing a short presentation from Drawn Company, and then we're gonna have a roundabout talk with Waffles Kitty and other creators. Anybody who wants to come on over, you can. The link is bit.ly/NFTopia2 hype, and you can come on right over. We're at the welcome area, just like you see here. A nice little group of us hanging out here. Some familiar names over there hanging out, and we'll be also pitching in some feedback later. If anybody wants to do the same, you can. And even if you're not a creator, maybe you can stick around and learn a few things about from this side of it. So today we're going to be talking about events and some other things. We already had 2 school sessions that are on YouTube, NFTopia YouTube. You can catch up there. We covered all sorts of good stuff in those sessions too. But for today, we're going to start with a short presentation and then move on from there. So give it to you there, Drawn Company.
My goodness, you are such a good MC, right? You are phenomenal.
I'll just wing it.
Like I no, I used to be a professional DJ, and I give my left leg for to be able to say that sort of thing off the cuff because it was perfect. So I
Well, thank
salute
you. Well,
you.
thank you.
And
Hey,
you
thanks for
don't
the
just do
follow.
it. It's not just a one-off. It's consistent, right? So anyway, big up to Consumer Break. Let's move on. So we covered a lot of different things over the past couple of weeks, but if you are a creator, I really hope that these 3 things you haven't not done them yet. So we need to follow at the NFTopia. We need to join the Discord, and you need to create an NFTopia folder where you store your NFT stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that you're going to learn or have learned, and there's a lot of effort that goes into getting ready for an event like NFTopia, and you need to be organized, because if you're not organized, your life is going to be hell. So what's the ultimate goal? Again, I just want to hammer this home to everybody. The ultimate goal of NFTopia, for me, this is the way I see it, other people may see it differently, is if you're exhibiting at NFTopia, the ultimate goal is to get an NFT into a holder's wallet, right? You've got a catchment audience. They've all got one thing in common. They have a wax wallet. So, that should be the aim of the game for you. So this week, very short and sweet before I bring on the main event, Waffles, we're going to do the basics, right? First of all, and then we've got another topic after this. And we're going to cover making friends, my biggest bugbear, event planning, and at the event. So there's no pretty pictures this week as well, because I had to do this quite hastily. So you just have to listen to me talking for 5 minutes. So making friends, right? It's really important as a creator that's starting out, or as an established creator like myself. I should really like take my own advice, that you should always try to make friends with people before approaching them to do stuff like collabs or working together, because you'll find that, especially in our space, Web3, right, that if you make friends first, and I've used the word friends there because when I came into the NFT world, everyone was talking about friends. We don't talk about it so much anymore, but friends, build the relationships first, become friends, and stuff naturally pours out of that friendship. It
Mm-hmm.
might be that the person you've built that friendship with isn't ideal for a collab or working together, but they might know somebody who can, right? Web3 is like, everybody likes to think it's different. I don't necessarily think it is. You can still apply a lot of disciplines from the real world. So good marketing, good sort of like, use of your personal skills to get ahead and to get sort of like a jump start. You've got to, yeah. So when you're making friends, make sure that, like, you can do, even if you're not good at making friends, by finding sort of like common ground, and you've all got common ground because you all either make NFTs or collect them when you're here. Again, relationships build from that, and the most important thing is your friends will recommend you. So what I'm trying to say on this slide, and then we'll move on, is just try and build friendships instead of like business relationships, because that will help you in the long run. I've got one big lesson here, which is one of my crown jewels. So it's a lesson from when I worked at Game in the UK, right? And this is a trade secret about what I think is the best sales technique ever, right? It's also employed by Games Workshop Warhammer. So the theory is that once you get someone talking about what they love, right, you can sell them stuff, right? So the easiest way to sell someone who's into collectibles is by literally getting them to talk about what they collect and what they enjoy, right? So if I have a sales conversation with a collector, I'm always asking a lot of open questions first before I move in for the sell, to learn what they like and then apply it to what I do. It doesn't always work, obviously, but I've got a lot of friends who are creators. So if I hear someone talk and say they like, PFP cuddly toys, then I'd point them towards Crypto Kumas. If they like serious quality artwork, then I'm pointing them towards Humble Drawings. They're probably not my customer, but it's about open questions and learning about that person. And the point is that if you're getting them to talk about their hobby and what they enjoy, they're becoming like immediately invested in it. And this is the way, and this is a bit brutal, this is the way we used to sell season passes to people. And it works, because obviously everybody comes in to the shop, no one wants to be sold a season pass, but the second you start talking to them, you build up trust with them, and then you can sell them stuff. So it's a great sales technique. It's a great way to understand your market. So you can ask them questions like, what are their favorite creators, what NFTs are their favorite in their wallet, what do you like about them. Again, all of these things are going to give you information, which means you can then either lead into a conversation about what you do, and you're linking it back to your product or another's product. Obviously the aim of the game is, if you're talking to someone who's collecting NFTs, is to get that NFT into their wallet. So engage them, talk about their hobby, talk about what they enjoy, then apply it to what you do or what others do in the space. This is my biggest bugbear, people. My skin crawls. So I see a lot of people we have groups of creators who are on stands, and we're all talking shop, and I've fallen foul to this as well. And it's actually a barrier to customers to collectors that potentially come onto your stand, right? Because the second they start hearing shop talk, they're immediately like put off. It's a barrier, and sometimes it can be even hostile to them, not because anyone's been particularly hostile, and there's a place for talking shop, but if someone's come onto your stand, you really got to engage them, and you've got to tell them about what you do, because if you don't, you're missing an opportunity. There's a time and a place for everything. Like, you can talk shop whilst there's not anything else going on in the room or the stand, but don't miss those opportunities, because I've been on stands at countless amounts of times where I've seen people come on, I don't recognize the name, they're a collector, they've come over, and we're not engaging them. And that's just that falls on me if I'm there. That falls on all the other creators that are there, because we should be grabbing that person to talk. We should be introducing ourselves. We shouldn't be talking about what's going on, on whatever marketplace or. So yeah, just something to think about. So event planning, right? You need to be flexible. I always warn loved ones that NFTOPIA is going to be taking up the whole weekend. I always say, sort of like, plan it into your work calendar. You might not be able to do this time because you don't have the luxury of planning, but next time, because we're going to know the events for that. When's the next event after this?
End of July. I don't know the dates, but end of July. Yep.
Beautiful. My birthday, right? Fantastic.
Nice.
So I can have a birthday party, the first ever birthday party in the metaverse. Or one of the first ever birthday parties.
That's right.
So I'll be planning that next event into my work calendar as soon as we get solid dates. We're thinking about social media in advance, but we've only got a week to go. But you can start planning what you're going to be doing in the build up. And just a bit of warning there, that especially for new creators, the calendar, like, as regards to drops, is congested. But as I've said before, I'm only ever going to do AAA drops at NFTOPIA. I'm not going to be doing big AAAs outside because it's a great springboard for the type of thing that I do. So, couple more slides and then I'll shut up. At the event, so you have to bear in mind it's a 24-hour event. It's open 24 hours. You are only human, so you can be there for only a certain amount of time. There'll be IRL pressures, there'll be work pressures, there'll be family pressures. You don't want NFTopia to get in the way of that, but so long as you plan, then you've got a head start there. When the event's happening, you should check Discord and Twitter regularly to see what's going on, right? I always ask other creators, is it busy at the minute? Is there any point in me turning up? And if people say, yeah, it's rammed in the main room, then I'm going to hop on for that time. I might even speak to my wife and just say, look, they say it's busy. I'm going to go and dip in. And Waffles will go through this, but pay attention for updates. Check the NFTopia Discord, the Inverse Discord, because as with any live events, there can be issues. We don't have many, but there can be that you can sort of help with yourself. So if there is a problem, like there's, I don't know, we've had some issues in the past where the UI wasn't working or whatever, I don't know. We've been able to tweet about that as a team to get the message out there. And explore, right? Go and look at what other people are doing, because there's no other place like this on the planet for the Wax blockchain. So again, I promise you, this is the last slide, right? Event logistics. This is the most important, and that's why I'm not going to do this, right? I'm going to hand over, drum roll please, to the Waffles Kitty, who is now a bona fide awesome NFT artist. Pay attention to what she says, right? Because it's important. It's the little things, okay, right? It's the little things that you want to know now that you're not going to be panicking about before the event. So just so everything runs, smoothly. Stuff as stupid as compatibility. Like I can't run NFTopia on Safari, so I've had to download Google, but that's fine. I didn't know that the first time, but we all learn. Check out those NFTopia resources, and I'm going to shut up. That's it. That's Digicon School done for me, presenting Waffles Kitty. But before I do that, we are graduating today, right? I'll share the link in the Discord. Some of you have already been whitelisted for this drop. The QR code's on screen, so go now. But I've created a sticker in the Series 4 sticker collection for everyone who's going to become an NFTopia School OG. Waffles, over to you. Stop that screen share stuff.
Can you post the link in here as well? In the
I'm going to do it now.
Chat? Great.
All right, cool. So let me share my screen. So we're just gonna talk about in general, like I guess the process for creating your booth, and then a couple of tips, and then what it's gonna look like when you edit it, and then after that we'll go into analytics. So the first thing I try to get people to go to when they're ready to create their booth, obviously, is to click on the sponsor link on the website. So nftopia.weebly.com, and there's a couple updates that are highlighted in red, and there's like a lot of really cool info here. I'll just briefly show the event deck. When you click on the button there, it'll show you what NFTopia is about, shows you a little blurb about the event, what the numbers will look like, and just like a little bit about the experience and the amenities and all of the people that have been joining us in this amazing block party, basically, event in the metaverse. So usually tell people upfront the booth cost and what it includes. And let me go to, do I have a picture of what the booths look like on here? I might. Well, I'll just give a brief venue map. So inside the exhibit halls, there's 5 sets of 5 rows for booths to be held. And I usually have a floor plan that I work with sponsors so that they will know where they're going to be placed. And we'll get to that after I show you a little bit more about the booths. So if you hover over on the website under sponsor and then you go to booths, it will basically show you everything you need to know about the booths, what exactly it includes. So it has a private chat area. When you walk into a booth, you're going to notice that the area around the booth is highlighted. And that means when you're inside there, you won't be able to hear people outside of the booth. It's a private chat area. So you won't, if you have booths next to each other, you won't overhear each other. Sponsors or vendor team members can represent the booth's logo above their avatar, as you kind of already noticed with a couple people inside here now. You'll see logos above their head. That's how they can represent their booths. And it also helps people to recognize, like, oh, this person's from Humble, this person's from Loon Momoko, this person's from the Node Builders, right? Same thing for NFTOPIA staff and Drone Company, and then Breakman also has it for Consumer Break also. For boots, you can customize the colors for the boot buttons and the tables and the sides. So you'll notice, and I'll just zoom in a little bit. So you'll notice that I'm looking at pen arts in NFTOPIA. You can see that the booth colors are a little bit different, and the table colors are different. And then not only that, for every booth, they all come with an NPC, which is a non-player character. Those of us who play games, we know exactly what that is. So this is just a bot that will has a little eye icon above it. When you click on it, it will display your booth and the information that you input in there. And I'll show you what it looks like once we get into the space. You'll also see links on top of the tables. You can list up to 4 links. But when you click onto your profile, you can list actually up to 7 links, I believe. And all booths, they include the blend piece drop, which are up to 20 collections. And when you combine it, you also get to combine it into a blended piece that basically includes everybody. It's really fun to like go and kind of like a scavenger hunt, like collecting all these pieces. It's a really great activity for everybody, and everybody loved it. So I really thank Breakman for coming up with this idea.
But very limited. The first 20. So same thing for the AMA event. That's also limited. So to get the most out of your booth, if you're going to come back next convention, you might want to go and buy your booth, and we'll release those details right after this next weekend for like the new sales. But when that happens, you might want to go in there quick. That way you can be one of those collab pieces and also an hour slot AMA event. Because when they're all filled, there's only so many hours in the weekend. And for the pieces, we didn't want to bring it over 20 because we don't want people having to buy 100 different things. So we made, last January we had 18. This time we'll have 20, and moving forward it'll be 20, the first 20 to do it. And it is a very fun thing. The projects are loving it too. They're making their own art for it. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And then a little bit about the key differences for booths. So there are small, medium, and large booths, but primarily we focus on small booths and large booths, just because you can fit a lot more with small booths, and it's substantially better to have a large booth because for small and medium booths, you can only choose slides or video to be shown on there. Sorry, one second.
We'll see.
She's putting me to shame. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is how it's set up. And as a booth owner in the editor, you're able to upload your own. You're choosing your own stuff in there. We're not doing that. So you're uploading your own slides, your own links. And like we talked about in the first or second sessions last week, what's better, is it images or video? Well, that stuff's up to you. It's whatever you want to show. But as far as good practices, you could watch the last week's session on YouTube, and we do cover some of that. And then also, we're going to, as an extra tidbit, and probably moving forward for good too, we're going to provide every booth a Nuvo code link, which is our partner for attendees to scan points and add points to their badge. That also goes in your booth. So you'll have a custom QR code you could put in your slides anywhere. I'd put it further down into your slides, not right up front. Make people go in there and look for it. cycle through your slides and look for it. And then in that way, it incentivizes them to look at your stuff, and they're going to earn points for doing that.
All right, sorry about that, guys, and thank you for filling in. I am too popular today. And you have a small booth, the video will actually override the display. So so it's recommended if you do have a small booth and you want your slides to show, you have to remove the video. Mm-hmm. And then I have the dimensions for the images for the slides. It should be 16 by 9. And video should be under 100 megabytes, and the ratio is the same as well. And when you scroll down, this is what I actually tell everybody that, like, this is something you can do right now, is go ahead and create your booth. And the link is like hard to find on the actual website because it actually doesn't exist for regular users. And this is done purposefully for the Inverse team because we don't want a billion people to be creating all kinds of booths. We want to have they want to have a conversation first and then give the link to create a booth. So that's why it's on here. So when you go down to the tutorial section and it says create booth, you're going to make sure you're logged into the inverse.app website. I know for the first time, people always get redirected because they want their landing page and kind of, talk about all their different capabilities. But once you get through and create your account, you'll be able to click on this link, go back to here and click on this link to create a booth. And then after that, you'll follow all of the instructions on the screen, and then you will message any of the NFTOPIA staff, just notify them in your group DM channel that your booth is ready with the booth name, because in order for it to show up inside the metaverse, we have to manually type it in, search for it, and then place it inside. So that's how that works. And then in terms of managing your booth, you can always update your booth at any time. And I'll show you exactly what all of that's going to look like. I'm just giving you a little bit of overview before we kind of go through the step-by-step and like actually look at what everything looks like. You'll be able to manage your booth and update, and everybody will be able to see your updates in real time. However, if people are already in the metaverse and they're looking at your booth and you make an update, they're not going to see it until they refresh. So sometimes you might have to be like, hey, we just updated our slide. Go ahead and refresh and then come back or something like that.
Yeah, and for that reason, it might not be a good idea to change your slides often. Like several DigiCons ago, I thought I would change my slide every 4 hours, and then that has a new password on it for Consumer Break, right, which is a neat idea, but it requires everyone to leave and come back to see the new slides. So it's not actually that good of an idea midday. But you could do something like that at night. So you know how our events go all day long, and then there's a break at night, in the U.S. at night anyway. That's most people won't be there during that time. That's like a between day thing. Some people are doing that. They're going to change their slides during that time, show something else the next day. That's fine as long as you understand people will have to refresh to get back in. It won't be instant. That's all.
Yeah. Exactly. And then when you're also, and I have kind of screenshots on what all of this will look like. You can also give multiple people access to your booth so that, they will be able to show the booth icon over their heads, and they can update the booth as well. Mm-hmm. And then I have instruction on how to put the logo above your avatar here as well. So there's that. I already talked about updates showing up in real time and where all the links are. There'll be the first 4 at the booth, and then if you have more than 4, it'll be in the description or the profile description of your booth. So let's go to, let's just look at what creating a booth looks like. So let me refresh this real quick. Here we go. All right, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it shows I'm already logged in. It prompts me to create an exhibit. It'll ask me for a logo. So I'll just click on here and then I'll add a logo. And then exhibit name, you put whatever the name is going to be for the exhibit. And that's what's going to be shown on top of your booth And that's also what we would be searching for once you tell us what the booth name is. We'll be searching for that so that we can enter it into the space. So once you fill that out, go ahead and click Create Exhibit. And I'm not going to create one here, but I'll show you what the screen looks like when you go to the next one. So let's, for example, look at NFTOPIA. So when you first click on that button to create the booth, it will directly send you over here, and you can always come back here. So this is where you're going to put your name, what kind of colors you want, a little description. There's also a preview on the right side. It'll show you what your booth would look like as a small, medium, or a large booth. Sometimes it's been a little bit funky and it like loads a little bit weird, but as long as you have updated all your things and we have it inside the space, you'll also be able to go into NFTopia and you can navigate to where your booth is and you can see the updates. Yep. So even if this preview doesn't work, you'll still be able to see it inside the space as long as we've already added it. So here you can look at what it looks like as a large booth. That's what it looks like here. And then this one right here as a medium-sized booth, I believe. And then the smallest booth, where is that? Right here. Right here. And this is what the smallest booth will look like. So you can kind of test out to see what it looks like over here. Mm-hmm. Now when you go to slides, you can choose images or PDF and then just upload the files. And it also kind of reminds you that the images have to be under 5 megabytes, be a PNG or JPEG file, and at a 16:9 ratio. And if you ever need to reorder anything, you can hover over and click to reorder stuff. And whenever you make a change, you're going to see that you have to click on this button at the bottom in the middle to save the changes. All right. Okay, so there's that. And then video is pretty self-explanatory. It has to be under 100 megabytes and an MP4 file. So that's what goes over here. Contact info, you don't really have to put contact info, but you can if you want to. Next for web links, this is where you can have, so this says, this is still a typo, but you can only display 4 links on your table. But if you list more, I'll show you where you'll be able to see all of the links.
And if you have a drop link for one of those collab pieces, that's where it would go too. You'd put your drop link right there inside one of those links. And we're going to call it Magic Potion this time. Last time it was Puzzle Piece. This time it's Magic Potion. So that's what we'll be looking for.
I'm still working on my design.
Oh, no worries.
But yes. And then over here for members, this is how you add members. So when you add a member to an exhibit, you'll basically click on here to copy the password of that exhibit. And it kind of tells you, go to exhibits, click on join exhibit, and use this password. So when you copy it, I'll show you what it looks like. So let's get out of here. So when you're done with everything and you want to go back to that screen, make sure you're logged in, of course. Click on exhibits, and then it will say your exhibits here. I have access to a bunch of exhibits because I also used to work for Inverse. But basically, you'll see your exhibit here, and then you'll click on it, and it will say settings. And you'll notice right here it says assign yourself to this exhibit. This is how you get that icon above your avatar. When you assign yourself to the exhibit, you're going to see your avatar show that icon above your head. And then this is kind of reiterating the description, the contact info, and the links that are that we've entered into the exhibit. And then you click on settings, and then this is how you get back here. Sorry, I skipped the part where I have to join the exhibit. So when you're back at the exhibits page and you click join exhibit, you enter that password that was on there. So whoever had access to there, they go to the members section, copy the password and give it to you. And then you can click on join exhibit over here and enter it and then join the exhibit. And it will be listed in your whole list under exhibits.
And then that way, with that procedure, which was a lot at once, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So it's just a join exhibit and a password, and then that way you can have multiple people in the same from your project in the booth. So you're all representatives of the booth. It could be
Yeah.
as many people as you want. They're all
Yeah.
gonna get the edit options of the booth, and they're all gonna get the logo over their head.
Mhm. Yeah. Then I guess like there's we can do a live
And
just
then
looking at a booth right now.
And,
So
and,
when you,
and if you have all these multiple booths like you do, I have a few too. You just choose, right? You choose which one you want above your head. You can't have them
yes,
all.
right here, when you click on any of the exhibits, you click on this assign yourself to
There you
this
go.
exhibit, and there's a slider right here.
There you go.
Mhm. So I guess we can do like a little bit of a field trip, and basically you guys can follow me and go to the NFTOPIA exhibit by going over here. And then I'll show you, you can see exactly what it means to click on the avatar and all this other stuff. So let's go this way.
Let's meander. How do I, let's see here. There we go. Let's meander over here. Look at all these cool cats here.
Alright, let's wait for people to catch up.
Anybody in the Twitch, if you want to join us, you know how to do it, I think. Just follow the link up there and come on over. Well, thanks for joining, Dr. Mosen. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is another thing that's cool for sponsors who have booths. So basically, you'll be able to make announcements like this once I give you the moderator role. Excuse me. In order to receive the moderator role, make sure that you purchase a booth, and then also you have to RSVP into the event. So once you RSVP into the event, you let us know what your username is on Inverse, and we'll search for your name and then switch you to a moderator role. And what that allows you to do is you can click on people and you can ban them or kick them, and you can make announcements like this.
Which go out to everybody in the entire space. So
Yes.
that is a cool thing, a perk to have with the moderator role.
Right.
Which is,
like, John Company being like, all right, guys, we're doing the conga. We have like 20 people already. We need to fill up this entire space. And he sends out the announcement,
And then they come running for the conga.
Yeah, but please, I mean, use it like it's a privilege, right?
Yes.
And I think that you're very brave giving it to everybody. I
I
mean,
know. I also put that you can, if you don't have a booth, you can purchase a moderator role.
Oh.
For example, like if you're an influencer and you don't really want to pay for a booth, but you still want to have the moderator role, so you can make an announcement being like, hey, I'm this influencer. I'm going to meet everybody over here at the pond. We're going to have a little, chat about something. I'll be here for a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But yes, of course, like you said, John, with great power, right?
It hasn't really been. We haven't seen any trolling with it, really.
Yes,
it's
you know what?
We've had some funny announcements, but that's just been part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like even myself, I'll be posting announcements. Like I do like this routine announcement especially for new people who haven't received like unlock codes. I'll be like, you've been past the virtual join. Use this code to unlock this doobie, right? So, I'll post stuff like, routinely to make sure people know, like, hey, don't forget, you don't have to walk everywhere if you're lazy. You can actually teleport.
Yeah.
But, for me and Breakman, we like to just walk to places, right?
I like to walk places when I'm not lagging too much.
Exactly.
We'll teleport, and we'll have, like we said, we're gonna have hourly events. I feel like I've always forgotten to ping out an announcement when we change, but it's right here at the top right anyway. So where it says right now, where it says register for NFTOPIA 2, that's gonna have the live event. Whatever's happening in the moment, it'll say the event right there, and you can click on it. You can see what room it's in. You can teleport right there. So that way, at any point in the weekend that you come in, and you want to know where the actual hype train event is, that's how you can see it.
Yes. And then now everybody, you see that there is an NPC to my right, your left. When you click on him, it'll say clicked next to view information about this exhibitor. When you click next, you're going to see on the right side exactly what you saw before when you're looking at the preview of your booth. It'll have whatever you wrote for your profile and all of your links. So this is where all of your links will go. And just like a little side thing, sometimes like when I was doing this for Splinterlands, I hid an unlock code in the description uh, of this booth. And so when people are like, "Where did you get that?" or something like that, I'll be like, "You gotta go to this booth," and they can't, for the love of God, they could not find it because they don't read.
That's how it
but
goes.
but sometimes if you want to do something interesting and you want to make sure people are paying attention, sometimes you can be like, "Oh, you hide a secret code there,"
Hmm.
or hide like a link or something like that.
Well, ideally, people will be looking a lot more this time because we have all those point links to be looking around for,
Yes,
and
yes, we're going. Yeah.
that includes in this booth in this NFTopia slides. Hey,
Yes.
hey, we got a question from Random Man. Can you choose what hall you prefer your booth to be in? Are you saying you want a booth, Randman? um, you can definitely tell us what hall you want to be in, but at the end of the day, we're going to just arrange it the best way that we can. It has to be kind of even, so it's like, and the halls can be filled as well. So
Right.
we can't go over X amount of booths in one hall. So we're gonna try
Yeah.
to even it out. But yeah, it's flexible though. So like we'll
So
move things
yeah,
around. If
let
you
me.
want to be
Yeah.
around next to anybody specific, stuff like that, you just gotta tell us, and we'll try to work it the best way.
Right. So let's just to switch gears a bit. We organized everything. I'm getting distracted by the freaking toilet like gifts. But anyways, um, just to switch gears, but it is related to the booths and like placement. As a sponsor, they all have access to the planning channels. I don't know if you could see it.
Hmm.
Um, you'll be able to when you click on the pin messages, you'll be able to see all of the important information that you need to know, including the floor plan, like where everything's gonna be, what it's gonna look like, and stuff like that. And you can see the schedule. um, for example, if you wanted to know like, oh, what we're going to have on the schedule, or if you wanted to add something to the schedule, you'll go to the schedule channel and say, "Hey Sarah, I want to add this, can you put it in at 12 o'clock on this day? Here's the description, here's the link and everything." Provide all of that there and we'll add it onto the
Yeah.
official schedule.
Any kind of
um,
events, any extra events from what we're already doing. If you're wanting to do that, all you gotta do is let us know. We'll put it on the schedule, and it'll also pop up there on the right, whenever it's happening.
right. And then I'm trying to see where I put the right here. So it's kind of hard to see because I try to put a lot of information, or as much information as I can. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming and a lot, but I promise you it is well worth it, so you can better understand all the ways you can be creative about the space and about your project and how it's represented here. And I know John Company and Breakman have like dove deep into how to do all of these things. So if you go to one of the pinned messages as a sponsor, you'll be able to see this live floor plan. Live floor plan.
Hmm.
So when you click on it, this is what you're gonna see. Just to answer Rana's question, so I have live previews of everything that we're working on, everything the staff or myself is working on regarding the schedule with the promotional banners, what the auction slides are going to look like, what the swag booth slides are going to look like currently, what the scavenger hunt slides look like, and what the photo booth logos are going to look like and how they're placed. Now here, this is kind of what the floor plan looks like when you're going into a hall. And for example, this is like the Waffles Kitty hall, and I have it set up where mine is like a large one and then there's like a bunch of small ones, but in reality you can have a large booth in any of these sections and small booth where I have the large booth, so it can be interchangeably interchanged. But like Brickman said, we want to make sure that every hall that we have is filled and it looks because if we let people choose, oh, I want to be in, excuse me, this hall specifically, but there's only 2 other people that confirmed inside that hall, we're going to want to consolidate it into other halls so that it's more full for people to look around in, right? So obviously we will try to place you where you want to be or who you want to be
Yeah.
next to. Oh, my friend's over here, I want to be over there. That's totally fine.
And,
We'll
and
try
they're
to,
limited too. So what you see here is the limit. I mean, that large booth could turn into 3 small ones, but then that's it. That is the total amount. So if there's that
yes.
many booths that are there, then that hall is full. So
Yeah, so if this was all small booths, you can only have 15 booths in here, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But everything will be rearranged next week. So currently it's still set up like January's. So next week, everybody that bought the new NFTOPIA 2 booth will remain, and everybody that didn't will go away unless they renew. And then we'll rearrange. There's also going to be new halls. So like the halls
Yes.
you see now will be different halls. So next week is when it's all going to be redone. But if
Yes.
you are a booth owner and you did have a preference, all you gotta do is let us know, or not just a hall preference, but like other booths. If you wanted to be close to friends, let us know who they are, and we'll give it a shot. We'll do our best to make it really cool.
Yeah, and pretty much every single sponsor has both a public channel for everybody else in the Discord and a group DM channel for every single person in their team to be always on the same page with people on the NFTopia team. So that's how we've been able to organize it, because everything that's in these channels, everybody can see. Everybody between both teams can see, and we can always be on the same page and pin different things so that we can keep track of stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that is that. Yeah, so everybody was able to do that. I want everybody to follow me into, let's just go to, let's say, the break hall, and I'll show you something neat about the booths. So follow me to the break hall.
Break hall it is. So if you have like a slower computer, this gets kind of rough. I'm one of them. I have a slow computer, but I'm going to have another one soon that'll change everything. But at least you're giving it a shot, and hopefully it works well enough to where you can play around with it. It does work on mobile too, but it's even worse on mobile. So you just gotta play around with your equipment, and hopefully it'll work. Otherwise, if it really doesn't and you really can't get in here at all, then you can still watch the Twitch of the events. And you can still earn the points and enter the giveaways from the events using Twitch only. So that's cool. What's up, Optic Red Rum? Come on over if you want. All right.
Can you guys all hear me?
Yeah, look at this beanbag circle.
Waiting for one more. Let's send them emotes so they know where we're at.
There we go.
Oh, he passed us. Okay, so okay, here's Nova Dan. All right.
Chill
So,
zone.
so here's something interesting. Okay, I'm pretty sure you could do this from here. If you go, if you click on, you see that billboard over there, where it has like a list of all of the booths
Yep.
that are inside this room. If you click on any of them, there will be a circle that appears under your avatar. So if you, yeah, so at that bulletin board, you can walk up to there, or you can probably click on it from here.
Oh,
Hey,
you
so
go.
so yeah, if you click on any of those booths that are at that billboard, right right where you pass by, you'll see a circle under your avatar, and it will literally direct you to where that booth is
Yeah, it's
supposed
kind
to
of
be.
pointing to. I didn't even know that part.
Yeah.
I've always walked around and just looked for them. But yeah, there you go. It has a little line you can follow right to the booth.
And then there's a second way to do that. So if you look at my screen and you click on at the top right, location, and you're gonna see all of the exhibits, right? When you click on any of these exhibits, there's a button that says show directions, and it'll be the same thing.
Right on. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how you can teleport too, right? You hit show directions.
I don't remember if it teleports you there actually.
Yeah, I think that's how you do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it does.
If you're not in that hall, then it'll teleport you there. Yeah, and she's gone. All right. Nice.
Yeah, but if it's inside of here and you click on any of those that are listed on that directory on that over there, it'll show you exactly where you need to go.
Cool. Yeah, so if you're not in, you just teleported out of here, right? Is that what just happened?
Yes, I did.
So yeah, you can teleport right from there, or if you're in the hall, then it points a little line. Or you can just walk, just run around till you find what you're looking for. That's
Exactly.
what I do.
Yeah.
There you go. Look for
Yeah.
people. If it's an event, look for the one that's flooded with avatars, probably,
Right.
which is always fun.
Mhm. And then I know I spent way too much on booths because there's so much you can do. I'm just gonna briefly talk about like in the booths there's a lot of ways to get around. If you have a small booth and you want to show a video, you can also list as a link inside the booth so that they can click on it and watch your video if you can't post a video or you want to put slides. If you want to put different like drop links, you don't have to always put it on under where the links are. You can put it as a QR code on your slides or as the short link on the slides as well. Um, or you can only provide the links when you are actually inside the booth. The other thing that's nice about that I've seen other people do, I think I forgot which person, but multiple people have also put in one of their slides their booth hours, like when somebody from
Oh,
the team is actually going to be there. They've also put, oh, we're going to be here from here to here and here to here, or whatever, and then we're going to have like an event here and here. So if you want, you could definitely do that as well.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Even if it's
Yeah.
not an event, if you were planning to be there at a certain time to mingle or talk to people,
Hmm.
then you put your times there. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm just gonna go into analytics, kind of switching gears for a bit. So when I get analytics from the Inverse platform, they send it to me in um, huge data sets, and I usually provide that for most sponsors, like the raw data. And I'll show you what the formatted data looks like because it looks a lot cleaner because I try to highlight the important information. So let me just increase this so you guys can see a little bit better. All right, so for my inverse analytics, so I'll get the registrants, like how many people clicked to RSVP, attendees, how many people were entering the venue. Actually, these just as a disclaimer, the data here is skewed because only the registrants number was correct, and then a lot of the other ones were incorrect because the Inverse team lost some data after doing a huge migration. So
And that's
take all
that's
this with
why hold on.
yeah,
That's why in January everybody got badges. And we explained that, but everybody that signed up after the convention got their badge. For this
yeah,
one, it should all work. We should have the stats, and we're going to be basing the badges off of this. So, like I said earlier this morning on the other stream, it'll be the top 10% of the action. So for the dancing badge, everybody that dances will show up. It'll say how many times you danced. If it was only one
exactly.
time in the whole weekend, you'll be there with one dance. And we're going to take the top 10% of the most dancing. Those will get the badges. Same thing for the
Hmm.
fishing. Same thing for the stars. So
Yes,
top 10%. And this is
yes.
how that works. We see that the stats here.
Yeah, and for pretty much all these analytics, you sponsors are free to use that for anything that they want. For example, if you wanted to do something similar for us, like whoever was fishing the most or dancing the most, you can also be like, oh, we're gonna award a prize to the fifth best dancer or something like that, or fifth person that danced the most. So you can customize it however you want to use the information. It's very valuable. I'll show you, like, this is what the usage looks like. So it actually, did I just disconnect?
You're still here, but
Okay.
we're seeing the same message though.
Oh, okay. So I'm like trying to reconnect. I don't know. My internet's been pretty shoddy. So basically, it will tell you how many minutes. It's measured in minutes on the inverse side. So I would tally it, and then I'll convert it into hours of how much people have spent throughout every day, and it has every single day on here that people have entered inside the event. And then for attendees, this is what it looks like. Pretty much all the information under attendees is publicly available to every single person, because when you click on other avatars and you click on their profile, this is exactly what will be showing. So then it will also say if they email consent, yes, especially for adding them into your newsletter. It'll have the same bio, all the same information that they put in their public profile, their URLs for LinkedIn, Twitter, website. Here's the thing that I pay attention to when I'm looking at the attendees is the attendance length and how much they've been using it. So you can see how many people were actually literally setting up a tent inside the metaverse, just hanging out here all weekend. And you'll probably see Breakman and I and John and a bunch of other people, Humble, Nuno from Atomic Code, being here for the longest amount of time, competing with each other. So,
What is that? Is that's not hours? What's that mean? Is it
oh, this is
hours?
in minutes, minutes.
Oh, it's like we weren't there that long.
No, we're not that crazy yet.
All right, minutes.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
gonna be badges too. So that's where the Metaverse Dweller badge comes in.
yes.
Oh, that's the one I forgot from this morning that somebody's
Yeah.
making. So yeah, you'll get that badge based on that how long you stayed in the Metaverse.
Mhm. And then awards. This is what we use for most of the what's it called, achievements. So the time in the event. This is basically very similar to the attendees side, how much time they spent inside of the event. Attendances is probably how many times they refreshed. um, and then their score. I believe this is a combination of time in event and the attendances and them completing activities. I have to double check with Inverse how that one was calculated. So I don't really use that one. I use the ones where I know for sure what it means. Scavenger hunt is what Inverse calls collecting the stars, and that is our Star Lord achievement badge. I basically tally all of these up and get the sum, and then I put it over here and highlight who is collecting the most. But of course, for this next one, it would be the top 10% to be receiving those. And then for honorable mentions, like presentation uses, beanbag uses, people who roasted marshmallows, those are honorable mention pieces of information where I collect the top 10, and then I give them a shout out on Twitter and stuff like that. Dances on stage is what Reagan was talking about. It will be tallied here. Some people dance once, 3 times.
The
It'll
entire
be,
time.
yes, this one's kind of interesting too. Fishing attempts. Oops, fishing attempts.
Oh.
Is how many fish they caught.
Yeah, I didn't know it gives us attempts too, so that's cool. I
Yeah,
think the badge should be based on how many were caught, so
yeah,
we'll base it on top 10% of fish caught.
yeah.
Cool.
I think before we were using just the leaderboards, because the leaderboard is on like the biggest fish,
Hmm.
but it's not recorded. You'd have to, at the end of the event
Mm.
or the day, take a screenshot of the leaderboard, which is what I do at the end of the event, so that I can make sure I know who to contact, who caught the largest fish and stuff like that. Or I believe in the far back end, the inverse team is also able to pull that information, so you can always ask them. But yeah, it's not listed on here,
Gotcha. For
unfortunately.
the fishing badge, we're gonna go. We're not gonna go with the biggest fish though. So
Yeah,
we're gonna go
probably
with
caught
most
fish, right?
fished.
Look at that, 151.
A lot of fish caught.
Yeah. So yeah, people love the fishing because it's just something to do while just just
Yeah,
chatting and all this
right.
stuff. Same thing with like roasting marshmallows, but catching fish is a little bit more active. Here's every sponsor's favorite, which would be booths. And so this will literally tell you the booth name, um, whoever visited the booth, when they did, and for how long. And then I actually total every single one of those manually because there is no way to do it here. And then I tally it here so I can get the totals of who were the most popular booths that people were staying in.
Mm-hmm.
In the raw analytics, none of this is totaled. If you do want to purchase a format analytics, you can, or it's already included as part of those who buy the large booth package, or the analytics separately. Because it takes so long for me to do this. But yeah, you'll be able to see who is the most popular booth. How many minutes was on here. Obviously, this is going to be way different because all the analytics will be correct. This was
Yeah, all that is based on before the
based
convention
on before the
started.
event because
So
Gunky Chunks had
they're all
like a lot
smaller.
of hype events and stuff like that
Yeah.
before, so that's why it looks like that. But it'll look the way it should for this next event. So that's basically it about analytics. I know I went 5 minutes over the hour, but I'm opening it up for questions now.
You're fine. I want to talk a little bit about the hype events, but yes,
Mhm.
if anybody had their own thoughts about anything or questions, it's a great time to do it. You can put it into the Twitch chat or into the space chat. Anybody in the Twitch is still welcome to come over here. We are going to still hang out for a little bit, and anybody else is welcome to pipe up. So for our events, they're all filled now, but we'll do it every time. We'll announce after the convention weekend. We'll announce like not right after either. A week two after, we'll start figuring out what's best to do for the following convention. We'll, as usual, we'll be looking at feedback and might improve in different ways. We'll see. But once those details are out there, you're going to want to get in there quick if you want to get the most out of your booth, because part of that includes the hype train event. So I'm going to, which again, anybody can do an event. That's fine to do an event on your own. But whenever we talk about the hype train event, that means we will be live streaming it. Here it is. And it's an hour, back-to-back hours the entire weekend. So if you have a slot in one of these, during your hour, we would all come to your booth. We'll live stream it, most likely here on my channel, or there may be some other streamers. And then we can do whatever you want during your hour. So most of these are like AMA events where they're like the way we do on my streams, where you screen share and you would explain your project any way you want, via presentation or just looking at your game or do demos, whatever it is. And then we can ask questions along the way, which is great because anybody in voice can do it too. So I kind of embrace that. So the people that are in the booth, they can be part of the convo too and just kind of learn all about these projects. And there's giveaways in every single one, so that's part of it too. I run a bounty block, hour-long bounty block for every single one of them. There'll be a prize of NFTOPIA pins there. And then if you, as the project owner, want to donate any prizes for those, then that goes there too. And then in between events, so basically I'll start a giveaway when we get there. I'll draw the winners when we leave, and then we'll just go right over to the next one. So if you are on here, you'll be part of the hype train, and you'll just be part of the train as we go through it. Now, hopefully, as we keep doing these, there'll be more and more people coming, but in January, everybody loved this. Most of the events had over like 40, 50 people watching the stream. It peaked at 70 or 80 on Sunday. And then the booths themselves are completely filled with like 30 people, 40 people. So it's just a heck of a fun time to hang out and be a part of that. That's going to be available for everyone too. So if you are thinking about continuing to come to these conventions, earlier the better. That way you can get in the slot. Not only get a slot, but choose your slot. You'll get first pick. And then also the collab land. If you're one of the first 20, you'll get your own piece NFT drop you can drop in your booth. People will collect them, blend them all into a legendary. That also gives them points, Nuvo points, which is even more incentive. And again, we don't know how many of those will sell this time. We'll find out. But in January, over 200 sold for every single one of them, including those collections that have never sold that many. So that's a really, really cool thing, especially as a new creator, a new creator, new collection, to get in there, get a booth, make the most use of it, get your blend piece, get an AMA stream, and then you got your actual booth with your slides that will also have a code for people to scan and get points. So we're trying to add as much value as we possibly can for both the collectors, attendees, and also the sponsors' booths, and make this kind of a whole party, a big party.
Oh yeah, you literally do get what you put in. If you put in a lot of work and making sure everybody is aware, like, hey, NFTOPIA is happening, this is what we're doing, this is how we're prepping everything, and making sure everybody is aware. This is, like, very important. If you also go on the website, I also created under the sponsor link best practices, and you can go through, take a read on that. I'll also be getting all of the links from Drawn Company for the NFTOPIA school to be adding under the NFTOPIA school here too. But yeah, definitely, like, my main points were be proactive, be creative, and hype.
Hype. There's also the Saturday main stage event that happens on the NFTOPIA Twitch. We'll be at the actual stage area, and there's talk slots there too. So if you come in early and talk to us about that, what it might take to become one of those slots, which are also taken now, then you can also have a little slot during that time to speak. And then also want to highly recommend not staying at your booth the whole time, or not only coming to your event only. You have that logo above your head. You're already advertising your project just by being your avatar. People know who you are just from your avatar.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to what Drawn's slide said at the beginning. Make friends, right? This is a perfect place to do exactly that. If you don't know many people in the space yet, just come to the events. Even if you don't know where to go, just come to the events I was talking about, those hourly ones, and chat with them, ask questions, things like that. And you'll become familiar with everyone. Don't be afraid to get on voice. You don't have to. But when you do get on voice, it's a lot more personal. People do remember you a lot more. They can engage with you directly. And as a booth owner, it's just a level up to engage with your community compared to just being on text. So
yeah,
just recommend them. Well, whatever time you can put in. You don't have to put in every single hour of the weekend the way some of us are. But whatever you're able to, come check it out. And then also, you don't have to be at the events as well. So you can go around and mingle. We don't know how other attendees will be around. I'm sure they'll be dispersed too. Not everybody's going to the event. So you can go around and mingle, and if there's some kind of booth groups, people hanging out at some booth, some random booth, and even if it's not if you see a random group of people, you're welcome to just pop in there, see what they're talking about, be part of it. Once again, as a booth owner, you have your logo right there. You don't even have to introduce yourself. You don't have to say, "Hey, I'm a creator." They know you're a creator, so you just go and engage with them, make friends. I agree with Drawn Company. That's the best way to start collabs, is to first just talk to them, not just cold email to somebody you've never talked to. I mean, maybe they might read it, but for chances are we get a lot of spam too. So if it's a random cold message that we've never heard of you, especially if we're not in a bunch of mutual Discords, chances are we're going to ignore you for collab, because it's usually like spam and just garbage. But if you just take that extra effort, just a little bit, to talk to them first, get into their community, their Discord, or here, talk to them in person. Next thing you know, they'll be totally open to collab. So just things to think about. And we did talk about ways to collab in previous sessions. So if you wanted to go in deeper dives, watch those on YouTube. And there are different ways to collab. That was the first week we did that. So great.
Any other questions, guys?
Wax is awesome, says Optic Red Rome. That's right, the wax. A quick note for the heavy spenders. Now, this is really only for the big collections. but the option is there. So the $500 package, which also things may change in the future, so don't hold us to the future. We don't know how things will go, but for now, it's $500 for the large package. It gives you that large booth, that giant one over there, where you can spread out, spread the people out. You get your entire hall like this. This is a break hall. Well, if you had the large package, you would name your own hall, the whole thing. You see these big banners on the wall. Now, last time I didn't have time, so I just put my app back on there. But that's a customizable banner. You can put whatever you want there. You can name these chill sessions we're in. There it says chill zone. You can name that whatever you want. And other things. So these are all like perks to get the large booth. Also, like, are we gonna have we'll have the logo wall again, right? It's not there
Yes.
now, but yeah, it's called the photo booth. So your logo will go there, and your logo will go over the door of your hall. And you can also name other spots in different areas, like the campfire areas outside. So a lot more promotion towards your project if you do get that bigger package. But of course, it's quite a bit more money compared to the cheaper ones. So it's really for the larger collections. But just saying, it is there. But you also get a lot with your small booth. So like we said, we just covered everything that you can do with your small booth. And then if you're in there early, then you can also get the AMA event and the collab piece to really, really put it on top. Anybody got some words? Anything? What are your thoughts? We got 12 people in here. Shouts to the creators are in here. Drawing Company's still here. Nomadad. Oops. We got Black Fang. We got Humble Drawings. T Wood What's Good with NFT Draft. Optic Red Rum. Thank you all for being here. A nice third session of school. Drawing Company, did you have more words you wanted to say? Anything to touch on what we covered?
100% right. That was my when I originally came up with Digicon School at the time, right? That was my dream. Waffles Kitty in the metaverse, and we walked around and we did it, right? So yeah, there was a smile on my face. I lost audio for a bit, right? But thank you for that. And you covered all of those things, which again I wished I'd have known the first time, right? And the thing is, Waffles works really hard and she puts a lot of information out there, but I'm testament to the fact that really until you're shown, it's difficult to get to grips of. But you did an absolutely fantastic job, and it made me, as we were walking around, I was having chills thinking the next one we do is going to be so much better than this one. Like it was, I'm bigging her up and she's running off. There we go. She's gone.
Well,
but yeah, I think, I think this has got legs, and I said it before. There are only 12 people at the Sermon on the Mount, right? So I think this is going to grow. I think this is going to be a key part of NFTOPIA moving forward.
Sure, yeah. Leading up to every convention, we're going to have hype events the way we did this past month, which was great. Not just the school, but like I had hype events, and we'll continue that, and we'll do these NFTOPIA school sessions leading up to every convention, because not only can we recover some of these things, but as we said before, we can share new ideas and new tips and tricks, because Web3 changes so quick and Twitter changes so quick.
Yeah.
And so every 3 months, this is a great way for us creators to get together in a place and just share ideas. And that's perfect.
And just to prove how fast it moves, when I was doing, I don't want to give away the trade secrets too much, but Humble will know because he was there at the first Digicon school. The majority of content that I created, right, was from Digicon school, because I wanted to try this time, and then if it worked and we got an audience, which we have, and we got people who are saying they learn stuff, then we're going to really work hard on it and move forward. But the interesting thing for me was I made that 4 or 5 months ago, and it was completely outdated. So like it's just incredible how fast the space moves. In that short period of time, a lot of the stuff that I'd done originally was no longer relevant.
Well, we appreciate you updating it and putting this on. This was great. Also, shout out to the other folks in here. Thank you all for coming in. the Crypto Witch and Bleezer,
Yeah, thanks for
and
sticking with it.
Fat Boy B, Trepier, and you guys too, which showed up to most of the events, even though you're not creators. So hey, you learned something. Hey, any creators out there? If this we covered a lot. Obviously, you can watch back the sessions, and that might help. But if you have any questions at all of any kind, don't hesitate to ask. Not just me or Drawn Company or Waffles Kitty, who are always here to listen and help, but most of the creators, we've said this in the past sessions, most of the wax creators would be very, very happy to help you. Just bounce off of them. Tell them your ideas. Ask them if it's a good idea or not. Make friends, right? Make friends. Get yourself a buddy to just bounce stuff off of all the time. And we grow together. Wax is all about collaboration over competition. We're not competing. We see each other as we're all in wax. So it's all about sharing communities, and that's what this convention really celebrates as well.
And I think as well, if there's any experienced creators out there who think they can do it better than us, then talk to us. And we want extra people to help us next time. We can't do it all ourselves because it wants to be more of a community thing. So I'm more than willing to do NFTOPIA School too, but I think that the more input we get, the more diverse it's going to be, the more people that have different takes. Because again, what I said when I was doing the marketing stuff was, it's just really my take on things. Everybody's going to have a different experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely invite others. We welcome it. It doesn't have to be part of staff of NFTOPIA, but definitely for the school, we want creators to come here and be a part of it and share their ideas.